Can Ukraine outright win a conventional war, or will it have to be by underground resistance? Joining me now to discuss that and more is Admiral William McRaven. He was a Navy SEAL for 37 years, rising to the commander of all U.S. Special Operations Forces, including the raid that killed Osama bin Laden. Can Ukraine outright win this war?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how you define win. The fact of the matter is, from a conventional standpoint, the Russians clearly have overmatched the Ukrainians in terms of pure combat power. But winning means, if you define winning as can they kind of take over and subjugate the Ukrainian people, I don't see that happening. The Ukrainian people are standing tall. They are fighting hard. As the Russians begin to move into Kyiv and Kharkiv, they're going to find themselves in an urban combat environment. And the urban environment is going to favor the Ukrainians because, they know the alleyways, they know the buildings, they know the streets. You'll be channeling conventional forces. And at the end of the day, the question for the Russians is, can they sustain the morale of the troops? Can they sustain the willpower of the Russian people in order to continue this fight? That remains to be seen. And I would say right now, the longer this fight goes, the better chance the Ukrainians have of winning it.
Do the Ukrainians have the ammunition? Do they have the manpower that they require?
Again, if you're talking conventional force on force, the answer is probably no. But if you're talking about a long partisan guerrilla insurgency, I think the answer is yes. Because you're going to find, again, we talked about NATO earlier, NATO is going to continue to provide the lethal aid necessary for, I think, the insurgent force, the guerrilla warfare that will continue on after the conventional fight has subdued a little bit. And that, I think they will have the ability to continue the fight. And this is going to be very, very difficult for the Russians.
I've been reading about the dispatch of these so-called death squads who reportedly have been given assignment of trying to take out Zelensky. My question for you, is it necessarily in Putin's best interest to try and take out Zelensky?
Yeah, absolutely not. One, President Zelensky has shown remarkable courage, remarkable stamina. I mean, he really is a shining example for all Ukrainians and, frankly, for the world right now. But if you take out Zelensky, you're going to make him a martyr. And I think you're going to find the Ukrainian people will fight even harder if they lose their president, particularly this remarkable man that's standing up in the face of Russian aggression.
A year ago, you said the following. You said, I am often asked, where do I think the greatest external security threat is? And I always point to Russia. At that time, you also said of Putin that he had outplayed us. How had he outplayed us, and is he outplaying us now?
Yeah, well, to answer your question, he is absolutely not outplaying us now. And this is, it's interesting. When you go back and you take a look at how Putin has kind of played the game, the great game, as we call it, on the world stage, I would say he kind of outmaneuvered the world in Crimea and the Ukraine and in Syria and to some degree in Venezuela. And when I say outmaneuvered, he has always ended up in a better strategic position as far as Putin was concerned. But he is going to lose this war no matter how it unfolds because he has become an international pariah. He's got these withering economic sanctions that are being forced upon the Russian people. He's finding that the Russian people don't really support this war. The Ukrainians are prepared to fight, and he's made NATO stronger. So no matter how this war ends, and I hope it certainly ends quickly and in the favor of the Ukrainians, but no matter how it ends, Putin is lost. I don't see him continuing to be an effective leader in Russia once this is over.